Should you track calories or macros? What's more important, calories or macros? In this video, I'm going to answer those two questions. I'm also going to give you guidance on what you should focus on based on where you're at with your current journey when it comes to nutrition and training. If you really want to get a good understanding of this, then make sure you stick around to the end. Because as you progress, it might change what the recommendation is to what you track. Okay, let's head over to the whiteboard. Okay, here we go. First of all, you need to have a brief understanding of what calories and macronutrients are. Calories is the energy currency of the body. And when you eat food, your food has a certain number of calories within it. And your body is also burning calories throughout the day to perform activity, whether that's me going to the gym, you going for a walk, whatever it is, your body needs energy to survive. Food that we eat provides us with that energy. Now, when we look at macronutrients, that is the nutrients that your body needs in large quantities, hence macro, as opposed to micronutrients, which is vitamins and minerals, which we're not going to be covering in this video because they don't have calories within them. But then still the question is, should you be tracking calories or macros? And really you need to understand that it's the macronutrients that you eat that provide your body with a certain amount of energy. For example, here I'm going to just write down carbs and protein, 4 calories per gram. Fat, 9 calories per gram. Here's what you need to understand. Your calories is made up by the macronutrients that you eat. So you have carbohydrates and protein give you 4 calories for every 1 gram that you eat. Now when I say 1 gram of a specific macronutrient, I don't mean of a certain food source. So if I say carbohydrate, for example, has 4 calories per gram, I don't mean 1 gram of pasta. I mean 1 gram of carbohydrate that comes from that pasta. So let's say you were going to eat 200 grams of chicken breast. That doesn't necessarily mean, it definitely doesn't mean 200 grams of protein. Fats, on the other hand, is 9 calories per gram. So you can see that it's the macronutrients that makes up the calories that you are going to be consuming on a daily basis. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to track your macronutrients, but it's important that you get a good balance between these 3 macronutrients, even if you're just tracking your calories, because your body needs them. Now, before I advise you on which one I think that you should track, you need to also understand that it's the calorie intake, so complete energy that comes into as opposed to goes out of your body on a consistent basis over time, that will dictate whether you gain, maintain or lose weight. So you have to factor that in. If you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain weight, you really need to get your calories right before focusing on your macronutrients. But dialing in your macronutrients can be super helpful. So because calories is the determining factor whether you gain, lose or maintain weight, most people have a weight loss goal, some people have a weight gain goal, some people just want to maintain weight. It's the calories coming into your body versus going out that will dictate whether you gain or lose weight over time. So that's the most important thing to start with. So if you're a beginner and you're new to tracking, then I would suggest just starting with tracking your calories. And if you're not sure where to start with your calories, I suggest going to the link in the description where I have my free calorie calculator where you can really go and get started. It's super easy, plug in some data and you have a really good starting point. No matter what your goal, gain weight, lose weight, maintain weight, you'll have a good starting point to start tracking your calories. But this could be enough to really give you some great progress towards your goals. With that said, and I'm sure if you eat a balanced diet, you'll be getting enough of these that your body gets what it needs. As you feel like you've nailed calories and you want to add a little bit of complexity, as you progress here, I would start to add tracking protein. Protein is great for building and repairing muscle and just general tissues of the body in general. And it's a very important macronutrient to make sure that you're not deficient in. So it's a good start to start tracking that. And then when it comes to weight loss or weight gain, you have a lot of wiggle room with your carbs and your fats, as long as you're hitting your calorie intake to play with. so that you can really find a diet that works for you based on, do you like a higher carb diet? Do you like a lower fat or higher fat diet? It's completely up to you, and you've got that wiggle room there, especially if you're beginner to intermediate. As you progress to more advanced, that's where you really want to start to dial things in a little bit more. So once you have been tracking your calories and protein for a while, then I suggest, then you start to track your carbs and your fats. And you could start by tracking with MyFitnessPal, the free version where you just change it in 5% increments and you start to track. So you would add in carbs and fats. And you want to make sure you're getting a good breakdown of all three, because they're really all important for you to function properly, especially if you like to train, especially if you're trying to gain muscle, and they can be really helpful in trying to lose fat as well. So as you progress through this life cycle, that's where you want to add the complexity. So I'd say if you're starting out as a beginner, this is where you just want to focus on tracking your calories and get the habit of that. Have a look at your macronutrients and see how that's going. And then as you progress, you add in the tracking of protein. And then once you feel comfortable with that, you can start to track your carbs and fats in a little bit more closely as well. Now, if you really want to dial things in, I really suggest going and downloading my free calorie and macronutrient calculator. It doesn't really matter where you sit on this spectrum. I really suggest going to download it. It really is a great resource to get a really good starting point of your calorie needs, and then to give you kind of an estimate of what you should be aiming for with your macros. But I would say, be realistic of what you can take on. Start to really get an understanding of your calorie intake, and then as you progress, add that complexity, because it can be really eye-opening to understand your macronutrients. If you can really understand this, it's game-changing when it comes to your training, when it comes to achieving your goals. So just to summarize the video, should you track calories or should you track macronutrients? And that really depends on where you fit on this spectrum and how overwhelming it is to get started. But as you progress, I do suggest adding in the complexity. As you become more an intermediate/advanced trainee, you definitely want to be adding that complexity, because you really want to be able to be fueling and recovering from your training sessions to maximize muscle growth. If you're going to be spending time in the gym, you want to optimize your time there, and so as you progress there, you are going to be maximizing that and optimizing that. If you're just starting off, you're going to see some great progress by just tracking your calories, especially if you have a weight loss goal. That's the determining factor whether you're going to gain or lose weight anyway. So just start there and just start tracking. It's super easy. Open an app, scan a barcode, Bob's your uncle, mate. You know what I mean? And so understand as well that calories is just the energy currency of the body, which is built up of carbs, proteins, and fats. And if you understand that, you can understand how your calories are, where they're coming from, basically. So in my calorie calculator, you can see you have a calorie target, and then you reverse engineer your macronutrients to fit within that calorie budget. You don't want to increase protein if it's going to put you over your calories, because the calories is number one, the most important thing that you need to focus on. Honestly, guys, if you can get started on this, it is absolutely game-changing when it comes to making progress towards your goal. I've had so many clients see success with tracking their nutrition, whether it's their weight loss goal or for people that really want to try and bulk up and put on some body weight. This can really help with that. You're really starting to get into understanding the basics of nutrition, and just as much as I do how important this is, and for a lot of people it's the missing part of the puzzle. So I urge you to start taking it on and learning, and start here as you progress. Add protein. I've got plenty of videos about how much protein you should eat, how much carbs and fats you should eat. But start off, get the calorie calculator. It's completely free, and just get started. Hope you find this helpful. Please give me a subscribe and a like if you found it helpful. Message me if you need me. I'm here to support you. I really want you to achieve your goals. So hit me up. Much love.